man, that's so hot.
Day 2, take 4. Roll cameras A, B and C. This is a go take. 400mm, 4.5 VRS.
G'day everybody, how you going today? It's so good to see you today. We are shooting with the brand new 400 4.5 from Nikon, and another great place and another great thing to shoot is aeroplanes. And here we are looking at some of the biggest aeroplanes, and here's one right now.
So let's make this one the shiny one. Go, go, go.
Awesome.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal.
Go over here. Oh, very good, very good, very good. Lovely, love. Here we go. Nicely done, young man. We are getting face detect on the surfer. He's doing a great job. His tracking is superb. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. There he is. Oh, awesome. Yeah, got that. These waves just look absolutely spectacular. Shooting them in slow-mo, I think they're going to look amazing.
I'm so good. No, I'm never turning back. I won't stop. I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so what? You're gonna be hurting bad. Cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad. I stay strong. You will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you gonna...
Also, you can shoot what's behind me right here, and that is aviation. This lens is perfect for it. This is a big plane, and here it comes.
Alrighty, so let's talk about the size of the 400 4.5. As we can see here, it is very similar to the 70 to 200 2.8. There is near on nothing in it. And weight-wise, they're much the same as well.
Well, this is day 2 of working on the 400mm, and we're just starting to shoot here today. The stabilization on this lens is uncanny. That's just the first thing I get. And the focus is lightning fast. I'm falling in love with yet another Z telephoto lens. I loved the 800, but 800 was too much reach for me. I don't really need that much reach. But this, I'm interested. And just to give you a bit of context, if we walk over this way, if you have a look at the Sydney Opera House, it's probably over a kilometre away. I cannot even, this thing's at 400mm, I can't even get the whole thing in shot. So it's a big throw.
All right, well, let's jump straight into it. A reminder that this was a pre-production version of this lens, but honestly, it works a treat. And I'm starting here on this shot. We're at 100%. We're on the Z9. We've got full pixels going. You can see we're wide open, 4.5, 400mm, ISO 64, 1/13,000th of a second. And we can just see all of this detail. Even the driver in the crane, boom, there's the shot. But the other thing I want to show you here is just how this lens handles chromatic aberration and flaring. Look at that, boom. So good. We've seen it before and we're seeing it again. Let's just keep going because there is so many shots in this list. That is literally the sun cutting through that cable. Absolutely looks spectacular. What a shot. What a shot. And I just love what this lens is capable of, 100%. And this information doesn't change. I'm going to let you see the adjustments. This is the adjustments all the way along. I have done 0 to this file. It's just about getting the exposure right and off you go. 1/20,000th of a second, wide open into the sun. This is people on top of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. You can actually walk over the bridge, and we're getting pretty close here. They are a long way away. They are probably near on, but not quite, a kilometre away. That's a lot of detail at people at that distance. And you're actually roped into the bridge. We can see here how there's these connections that happen as you go across. Another thing I love about this lens is how sharp it is. It is super sharp, considering that it is so short. As we've seen, it's a similar size to the 70-200. It's lighter, slightly longer, but just looks great in all sorts of circumstances. Doesn't matter what you're shooting. There's 100%, all of that detail coming through, rendering, looking great. And handheld at 1/160th, the sun's going down, f4.5. Again, if we want to look at purple fringing, now I do think the software gets involved with these lenses and helps them out. But quite frankly, if this is the result that I'm getting without me having to do anything, absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. We're at 100% into the sun. This is what comes straight out of camera. You can see here I've made no adjustments to anything. Nothing. Like, we can add in here the purple fringing tool, and it'll be down the bottom now. Nothing. Nothing. This is what comes out of camera into Capture One. If you're a photographer and you just got to get files out and you don't want to have to work on them, what a result. Lens, Capture One, camera, they give you this. Let's keep going because there is just so many images. Love the color, love the contrast, love the look. Again, no adjustments. Now here we are handheld at 1/100th of a second at 400 mils. Looking super duper. The sun has gone down and we are at 100%. And just look, yep, look how it renders. So all sorts of conditions, sun, harsh sunlight, twilight, you still get amazing results. And we can even get separation. And this wall here is not particularly close to me. It's probably over 100 meters away. But I like that look. I like that level of separation. And we continue to see here that there is just no adjustments. These are straight out of camera. Photography is a lot about getting good exposures. Well, here we are again. This is now definitely getting quite dark. We can see the illumination of the offices behind. Let's bring up the shadows so we can see a little bit more detail in the shadows. But again, just look at that sharpness. Look at how everything looks. Absolutely fantastic. And we can see the offices behind. We can see people doing things. We can see a construction worker up here doing something. And we are at 640 ISO, so these files are just looking fantastic. We're using a 4.5 lens at this level of light, still getting these great results, still doing it handheld. And I suppose ultimately what we see here is this is the power of the Z9, the vibration reduction, and this lens does have VR in it. All these things coupled together give you a great result. We're at 1/25th of a second here, 1/25th. Let's let that render 100%. And, well, that's looking pretty sharp to me. I don't see any signs of movement there at 100%. There's that construction worker still constructing. There's an enormous amount of detail, enormous amount of capability, and we just don't see like no purple fringing, no green fringing. This is quite a stressful situation for all the elements. I mean, let's look at it. ISO 640, sure, that's not super high, but it's not base ISO. 1/25th handheld, so that's pushing things, and we're wide open for this particular lens. Yet you still have this outstanding result handheld. Definitely after sunset, looking towards the sky. Beautiful capture, beautiful rendition. 1/400th of a second, so no problem here with sharpness. As soon as this draws in, it's getting there, and there it is. Just fantastic. And 640 ISO. Sydney Opera House with some projections on it. And here we are the next day. This is what the lens can look like in daylight. We've got a lot of light here. We're shooting base everything with 1/1000th of a second. Just looks fantastic. Here comes the light rail through the centre of Sydney. These files have been a little bit adjusted. We certainly don't need that level of saturation. Go away. Now, I'm pretty sure the camera picked up, if I remember correctly, the driver. So we can see here, great focus on the driver. Beautiful, clean, clear, crisp, without flare, without aberration. a great result. The moon is looking great. I mean, we can make out the craters on the moon, and here's 200%, and that's during the day. So that's actually, that looks really cool. I haven't zoomed into that before, but that's a really, really, really nice result. Daytime moon, blue sky. Now, I am not a bird in flight photographer, but I attempt to get some to show capability, and it's certainly capable of doing it. As we can see here at 100%, the focus system is finding this bird even on a busy background, and it's staying with this bird even on a busy background. And that's not just any busy background, that is the Sydney Harbour Bridge. But there it is, hanging with it, and we're only at 1/800th of a second, which is probably a bit slow for this sort of thing. But there, yet again, is a result. These files are all at 100%. And I just want to show that the detail's there. The detail is absolutely there in the plumage, and eye detect was working fantastically. I really feel like this lens has been designed with the sun, with lots of sunlight in mind, because it just seems to love sunshine. I don't know how to describe it. I don't really know what is going on, but I can sort of see that it just punches through the haze and it just creates these really crisp images that look really cool. And yes, that is a big plane heading out from behind that building, leaving Sydney Airport on its way. This was at Luna Park, a young lady and some others getting pretty stressed about being way up high on the hair raiser. Again, just that crispness. Handheld, 1/400th of a second, wide open, ISO 64. And things are just rendered so clearly, so beautifully, so much detail. And we haven't even got to the water images yet, which will, I think, some of them are pretty impressive. Purple fringing, I mean, it's so minor. There's absolutely, once we get to this point, we can see there's absolutely the smallest amount of it. Maybe. But we're at 300%. Come out to 100%, and it's just not a thing. It's not a thing. Ultimately, with Nikon's color science and this lens, I think what I'm feeling and seeing here, what I was trying to explain is these things just look very real. They look very, very true to life. And this is what Nikon is so well known for. And let's have a look at how much work I've had to do over here on the left when it comes to adjustments to create these files. None. None and none. And none. This is just correct exposure and good framing. And of course, if you want to bring it up a bit, yeah, you can. You can do what you want. There is so much latitude in these files, especially when shooting at 64 base ISO. Honestly, this lens, now I have used the 400 2.8, and that is, well, I mean, I think it's 5 times more expensive in this country, so you would expect it to be better. But honestly, this lens is pretty close optically, and the result that you get, and what you don't get in this lens is you don't get 2.8 and you don't get a built-in teleconverter, but you do get a lot of everything else for 1/5 of the price, give or take. I mean, look at the quality here. Here we hit the waves, and I've got a lot of images of waves, so you might want to jump forwards if you're not interested. But what we see here is the Z9 and this lens's amazing capacity to track people, to keep things looking sharp. There's no flaring, there's no aberrations. I was doing it at high frame rates. Everything's amazing. I'll just fly through this. For example, there's this little sequence of images here. Let's go into 100%. And we can see the camera is rendering the water and the gentleman on his surfboard. They are just looking great. And I'm a long way away. This is at 100%, and this is an astonishing result. I am not a sports action, especially surfing photographer. Now, I do pride myself on being able to do most types of photography, but I haven't done a lot of this. Here we are. We're achieving it. Could have I done it before? Probably, but I just turned up, turned the camera on, and this is the results. When we turned up at this location, we could see that there was big surf and it was interesting, and it seemed to just get bigger and bigger the longer that we stayed at this location. And what we found out the following day was that there was actually this massive weather that rarely gets seen on the east coast of Australia here near Sydney. And this was not unprecedented, but a very rare weather occurrence. Now here we have face tracking, and it's just cruising along and it's following this surfer. It absolutely kept up with this person. Even so, he had his back to us. He stays in focus, and we can go into 100%. That'll make it redraw faster, but it also allows you to just see how much quality, how much detail. I mean, just look at this detail. Look at this. It's just all there, and it's just so good, and it just keeps going. I am on the shoreline, and we are still tracking. Look at that, still tracking through the wave. Astonishing day, astonishing weather, astonishing equipment. A little bit later, I throw on the 1.4 teleconverter and get basically exactly the same results. Again, this guy, the camera's tracking him. Here we are at 100%. It's following through. He's stuck in the middle of this wave. He's just going for it. The camera's just locked on. I'm just firing off frames, and it doesn't matter. We have still got him in the middle of that quagmire. Look at that. We've still got him. I mean, that is just such a beautiful image from my perspective. I love it. I mean, honestly, what is even going on here? You get into this shot, and if you saw this shot on its own, you'd go, what is going on? What a result from the Z9 and the 400 4.5. If you think this thing cannot do amazing action, well, here it is. That sequence goes on and it stays the same. It stays locked on until he disappears. We're still going, as we can see here, 20 frames later, and it's all still happening. And we only shot these surfers for probably something like half an hour to an hour, and there was just so many great shots. And I suppose that's a mixture of the surf, the weather, but of course critical focus was found. Again, another action-packed shot. We can see here we've got the 1.4 teleconverter on, so we're out at 560. What an amazing frame. I've had to go out to 67% because 100% is a bit tight. It's able to face track and give you the fast focus with the 1.4 teleconverter. And just these absolutely outstanding waves. It's hard to get a sense of how high that is, how tall that is, what's going on there, but it's actually very high, like probably 20, 30 feet, that big explosion there. And you will have seen some video in other parts of this video you're watching of even larger waves exploding. There you go. That gives you an idea of the scale of these waves. There's a person there. They're really big. Really big. It was a big day, big weather. I just jumped over these ones, which I just found to be good looking. 560 mil here with the 1.4 teleconverter, and just lovely detail. Okay, here's some planes. We're at 640 ISO, 1320th 4.5 of what airplanes look like. And you know how I love my buildings, and part of what this is all about is just showing us the sharpness. Here we are at 100%, and this is just beautifully rendered. And if you want to make that less sharp, well, you can do that in post, but starting off from a sharp baseline, that's a better place to start from than a not sharp baseline. I do think we get a very pleasing bokeh out of this lens. We can see it here in the background. Bird eye, we can get a sense of the eye, just how sharp that is. We are at 400 at 640 ISO, but that's just looking lovely, and we're at 100%. This lens, I mean, we could just keep looking at more and more and more images. Ultimately, what this lens allows for is a very, very high level of image quality. So it's really high. As I said before, I don't know where it's different in regards to the 400 2.8 TC, because I can see here a very high level of quality rendition, flare suppression, chromatic aberration suppression, vignetting, all of those things. They're right out on the edges where you'd want them to be, not affecting this lens at all. It looks spectacular. The only penalty on this lens, the only penalty is that 4.5. And I think when you take into account the size and the price versus a 400 2.8, you can just see how useful this lens is. And in this video, I've shown you it working at night. I've shown you it working handheld very slowly. And I've also shown, of course, it can do action. It's not a lens for everybody. I can probably get by with my 70 to 200 with a teleconverter on it, or maybe something like the upcoming 200 to 600. But I really don't use that often lenses out beyond 200. And maybe a teleconverter is just enough for me. But for those who spend a lot of time in this sort of space and are looking at something like the 400 2.8 and can deal with the difference in apertures, and let's not forget that the difference in aperture is just 1 1/3 of a stop. 1 1/3. It's really not a big difference. This can be compensated for by going from, say, 400 ISO to 1000 ISO. Something in that order. This is a great option, and it will get you into the 400mm space. It will allow you to use teleconverters, and it'll get you rolling. Now, I'm including this shot because
1/25, 4.5.
this is shot under moonlight, handheld. Wow.
ISO 12,800. ISO 4000. We are 8K 24, standard 400. Clearly, they're built for each other, but I just think with every new lens that comes out, they're even more refined to work together. I really think Nikon are leaning into that a lot. Just coupling. See here, I can get those exploding waves behind. It's very dramatic. Oh, that focus is lightning. Wow. Really uncanny, unbelievably stabilized. It's good stuff. Sydney, it's iconic, it's global. This is an astonishing lens. I'm blown away by this lens. This is a prime lens. You want it to be fast? Well, this is fast. You want it to be quiet? Well, I haven't heard it yet. And chromatic aberration, I haven't seen any. It is being suppressed like crazy. Wow. And it's light. This lens, I'm calling it the Bay, after Michael Bay, because it's so cinematic, it's so epic. Welcome to prime time.